How's it going? This is Jerry here to make another YouTube video. It is now time for another PC gameplay on my channel, in which I'll be playing Shrek, the electronic storybook collection. Within this game is basically, it's a Shrek PC game, and you can either read the story of Shrek, you can tell your own tale of Shrek, and you can print out lots of coloring pages from the hit movie Shrek. And which I'm going to be doing all that today, so let's not waste any time, let's begin the game. I'm going to be telling you first, we're going to read the story, and which on this version, normally you would hear the sound effects and the character sounds from the movie, but because I don't have Adobe and Reader on this game or Adobe and Flash, this is not support on this computer on Windows 10. It's not being supported anymore. You're just going to be hearing me read the story to you. So let's not waste any time. Let's get going. Shrek. Let's begin. There's the front cover and there's the inside tile. Copyright 2001. Let's read. Once upon a time, there was a lovely princess, but she had an enchantment that could only be broken by love's first kiss. She was locked away in a castle, guarded by a terrible fire-breathing dragon. Many brave knights had attempted to free her from this dreadful prison, but none had prevailed. She waited in the dragon's keep, in the highest room in the tallest tower, for her true love and true love's first kiss. A big green ogre stopped reading and laughed. Yeah, like that's ever going to happen, he said, ripping a page from the book. Shrek then set out to complete his morning routine. After visiting the outhouse, he took a hot mud shower. He was careful to brush his teeth twice a day with fresh bug guts. And then he enjoyed a hearty breakfast of slimy leeches and eyeball cereal. Shrek spent his afternoon quietly painting a new "Beware Ogre" sign for the edge of his swamp. Shrek valued his privacy. One evening, Shrek scared away a particularly punishment mob of villagers. As they ran away in terror, a fire flew to the ground. Now what's this all about? Shrek wondered. Wanted, ogre's reward. At a trading post not far from the swamp, a line of fairy tale creatures before a captain with a large pile of cash, an old man stepped forward and plopped a puppet on the table. What's this? The captain asked. A little wooden puppet, the old man replied. I'm not a puppet, Pinocchio cried. I'm a real boy. Immediately his wooden nose grew as long as his leg. Take the possessed toy away, the captain declared. I've got a talking donkey, an old woman said. She gave the donkey a tug on his rope. Go ahead and talk, little fella, the woman said. The donkey pressed his lips together and didn't make a sound. Talk, she screeched. She gave him a slap and knocked over a cage holding a glowing fairy. Covered in shimmering pixie dust, Donkey slowly rose into the air. Hey, I can fly, he exclaimed. He can talk, the captain muttered. Donkey floated gleefully above the heads of the crowd. That's right, fool, he laughed. Now I'm a flying talking donkey. Ha ha! But soon the pixie dust wore off and Donkey plopped back to the ground. Right in front of the captain, Donkey ran for the woods as he turned his head to get a look behind him. He slammed smack into a large something. A very large, very ugly, very green something. Shrek! Donkey darted behind the ogre's huge legs just as the guards came puffing up. The guards took one look at Shrek and fled. Shrek spun on his heels and headed back towards his swamp. Donkey trotted on behind him. Listen, you were really incredible back there, Donkey called out. Shrek turned. Why don't you go celebrate your freedom with your own friends? He asked. But, I don't have any friends, Donkey admitted. Shrek shrugged and strolled on. Hey, wait a minute, Donkey called after him. I got a great idea. I'll stick with you. You're a mean green fighting machine. Together we'll scare the spit out of anybody that crosses us. Shrek preferred his solitude. Roar! He waved his arms and made a fearsome face. Donkey was impressed. Oh, well, that was really scary. Man, I like you. Donkey followed Shrek down the path into the swamp. Whoa! Who want to live in a place like that? He asked, pointing to a rundown shack. That would be my home, Shrek said. He frowned. And I like my privacy. Donkey fought fast. Can I stay with you? He begged. Please. I don't want to go back there. You don't know what it's like to be considered a freak. He paused. Well, maybe you do. But that's why we gotta stick together. Shrek gave up. Okay, he agreed, but one night only. That night, Magical creatures began to arrive in Shrek's swamp. The three blind mice crawled all over his dinner table. A big bad wolf slept in his bed. Outside, witches made a landing strip on the mud. For their flying brooms and fairies shared a bonfire. With a troop of elves, by the time Shrek stepped out of the house, fairy tale creatures were camped across his entire property. What are you doing in my swamp? Shrek bellowed. He shot Donkey an accusing glance. Hey, I didn't invite them, Donkey said. Pinocchio piped up. Well, no one invited us. We were forced to come here. By whom? Shrek demanded. Lord Farquaad, one of the three little pigs answered. All right. No one gets comfortable, Shrek ordered. I'm going to find this Farquaad guy right now and get you all off my land, and you, he pointed Donkey, you're coming with me. In the far-off city of Duloc, Lord Farquaad was in the dungeon interrogating prisoners. The gingerbread man laid on a cooking tray. Run, as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man, Farquaad mocked, crumbling one of the cookie's legs. You're a monster, the gingerbread man gasped. I'm not the monster here, Farquaad said. You are. You and the rest of that fairy tale trash spoiling my perfect world. Now tell me, where are the others? Poof! The gingerbread man spit milk into Farquaad's face. Just then, the door burst open. Castle guards carried in a large draped object and pulled the cover off. It was a magic mirror. The magic mirror. Farquaad's eyes gleamed. Mirror, mirror on the wall, is this not the most perfect kingdom of them all? He asked. The mirror clears its throat. Well, technically you're not a king yet, but you can become one. All you have to do is marry a princess. The mirror showed Farquaad portraits of Cinderella and Snow White. Then the spotlight fell on a third princess. And last but certainly not least, Bachelorette number 3 is Frally Red Head from a dragon guard castle surrounded by hot boiling lava. Yours for the rescuing, Princess Fiona, the mirror announced. Farquaad stroked his chin thoughtfully and chose Princess Fiona. All I have to do is find someone to rescue her. Sir, the mirror interrupted. I should probably mention the little thing that happened tonight. Silence, Farquaad snapped. I'll make this Princess Fiona my queen, and Duloc will finally have the perfect king. We will find a rescuer. Let's have a tournament. Before the games could begin on tournament day, Shrek and Donkey arrived in Duloc to confront Lord Farquaad. When he saw them, the cunning lord fought fast. Knights, I have a new plan, he said. The one who kills the ogre will be named champion. In one move, the knights came at Shrek. Shrek backed up into a row of ale kegs. With a mighty blow of his hand, he knocked the big off a keg, and the owl gushed out onto the field. The knights started, slipping and sliding. So the tournament became one big wrestling contest. Shrek pinned, flipped, and tossed the knights. He tagged Donkey, and while Shrek held the knight down, Donkey headbutted him. The crowd roared. Finally, Shrek crashed a chair over the head of a knight. Shrek was the champion. He raised both arms in a winner's salute. People of Duloc, Farquaad announced, I give you our champion. Congratulations, Ogre. You've won the honor of embarking on a great and noble quest. Shrek was confused. I'm already on a quest to get my swamp back. I'll make you a deal, Farquaad said. Go on this quest ring and you'll get it back. So Shrek and Donkey embarked on a new quest. After walking through farmland, forests, deserts, and mountains, they finally arrived at the Dragon's Keep. It towered over a lake of molten lava spanned by a rickety bridge. You afraid? Donkey whispered nervously once they met inside the castle keep. Shh, Shrek said. Now go over there and see if you can find any stairs. Stairs? Donkey asked. The princess will be up the stairs in the highest room in the tallest tower, Shrek explained. What makes you think she'll be there? Donkey asked. I read it in a book once. So as Shrek tiptoed down one corridor, Donkey tried another. Donkey had just turned a corner when he came face to face with a big yellow eye. Ah, dragon! Donkey shrieked, breathing hot red balls of fire. The dragon came after Shrek and Donkey. It hurled Shrek through the ceiling of the tallest tower. Then it closed in on Donkey. Just keep talking, Donkey told himself. Ah, what white sparkling teeth you have, he began. The dragon smiled, showing her pearly whites. I know you probably hear this all the time from your food, Donkey went on, but that is one dazzling smile you got there. And do I detect a hint of minty freshness? The dragon leaned closer. It battled its long eyelashes. Donkey suddenly understood. I know, he said. You're a girl dragon. This time Donkey had said too much. The dragon was in love. Purring, she carried Donkey off to her lair. Shrek found himself in the princess's bedchamber. Are you Princess Fiona? He asked, shaking her awake. I am, the princess said, awaiting a knight so bold as to rescue me. Ah, that's nice, Shrek said. He didn't have time for romantic nonsense. Now let's go! They dashed down the stairs. Shrek rushed into the dragon's lair, brought a candelabra, and chained down on Dragon, and rescued Donkey. Run! Shrek bellowed to Fiona and Donkey as the dragon blew blazing fireballs after them. Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona raced over the rickety bridge. The dragon started after them, but was jerked back by a chain around her neck. She gave a mournful cry, but they were safe. You did it! You rescued me! Fiona exclaimed. Shrek beamed. You may remove your helmet, Fiona went on, for true love's first kiss. With Shrek, Donkey roared. With laughter, you think Shrek is your true love? What's so funny? It is destiny, said Fiona, demanding that Shrek remove his helmet. As Shrek did so, Fiona gasped in shock. You're an ogre. Oh, you were expecting Prince Charming, Shrek said sarcastically. He sighed. Listen, princess, I was sent to rescue by Lord Farquaad. He's the one who wants to marry you. Fiona pouted stubbornly, so Shrek tossed her over his shoulder and set off on the road to Duloc. As they approached a green forest, the sun was setting, and Fiona insisted they camp for the night. She quickly wished them a good night and disappeared into a nearby cave. After dinner, Shrek and Donkey gazed at the stars. Hey, Shrek, Donkey said, what are you going to do when we get our swamp back anyway? There's no we, Donkey, Shrek said. There's just me and my swamp. What's your problem, Donkey complained. What have you got against the whole world anyway? Fiona peeked out from her cave, interested. The world has a problem with me, Shrek said. People take one look at me and go, ah, run! A big, stupid, ugly ogre, he sighed. They judge me before they even know me. That's why I'm better off alone. In the darkness of the cave, Fiona shook her head in sympathy. The next day, Fiona relaxed. She talked and she joked. She made them all breakfast and shared a friendly belch with Shrek. And later, when Robin Hood and his merry men tried to rescue her from Shrek, Fiona knocked them out with a series of great martial arts moves. She even pulled out one of Robin Hood's arrows from Shrek's behind. Shrek was stunned and impressed. He and this princess had a lot in common. After all, he thought, they laughed and teased each other the rest of the day. Their last night together, and Shrek cooked his specially Reedrat rotisserie style. May you come visit me in the swamp sometime, he said. I like that, Fiona replied, smiling at Shrek. After dinner, Shrek headed into a nearby mill as the sun began to set. I see what's going on here, Donkey told Shrek once Fiona had gone inside. I'm an animal and I've got instincts, and I know that you two are digging on each other. Just go on in and tell her how you feel. There's nothing to tell. And if I did tell her, she's a princess and I'm an ogre, Shrek replied. So that's that. Donkey had an idea. He opened the old door of the mill. It was dark and spooky inside. With a crash, a large green ogress appeared in front of him. Ah! Donkey shrieked. What'd you do with the princess? I am the princess, the ogress admitted. When I was a little girl, a witch cast a spell on me. Every night I become this horrible, ugly beast. Fiona choked back a sob. I was placed in a tower to await the day when my true love would rescue me. Well, I'm not going to lie, Donkey said. You are ugly, but you only look at this way at night. Shrek's ugly 24/7. Outside the mill, Shrek picked a sunflower for Fiona. Maybe if he just told her how he felt. But Donkey, this is not how a princess is meant to look, Fiona said. Sunflower in hand, Shrek opened the door of the mill. He stopped when he heard Fiona's voice. Who could ever love a beast so hideous and ugly, Fiona continued. That's why I can't stay here with Shrek. My only chance to live happily ever after is to marry my true love. Stunned, Shrek dropped the flower. There was no hope. Later, Fiona found the sunflower. By then, Shrek was long gone. The next morning, Shrek told Fiona he had overheard her conversation with Donkey, and like you said, who could love a hideous, ugly beast? He said coldly. Fiona thought he was talking about her, but I thought that wouldn't matter to you, she murmured. Well, it does, Shrek said, scowling. Fiona was furious and hurt. When Lord Farquaad arrived to meet her, Fiona insisted they get married that very day, before sunset. Delighted, Farquaad said. He lured her, the perfect bride for the perfect groom, he handed Shrek the deed to his swamp. Take it and go, he commanded. While Fiona and Farquaad prepared for their wedding, Shrek returned alone to his swamp. He wasn't alone for long. Donkey interrupted Shrek's meal for one. You're pushing Fiona away, Donkey told Shrek, and all she did was love you. Love me. She said I was ugly, said Shrek. She wasn't talking about you, Donkey said. If you want to know what she said about you, why don't you ask her? The wedding, Shrek remembered. We'll never make it in time. Never fear, Donkey said. Where there's a will, there's a way, and I have a way. He whistled and Dragon flew in. Hold on tight, Donkey said. I haven't had time to install seatbelts yet. I object! Shrek strode into the cathedral and up to the altar. He grabbed Fiona's arm. You can't marry him. And why not, Fiona said. He's not your true love, Shrek said. Ha, Farquaad groveled. The ogre has fallen in love with the princess. Fiona looked at Farquaad, then at Shrek. Then, at the setting sun, she made up her mind, closed her eyes, and waited. The last rays of the sun disappeared, and Fiona transformed into an ogress. Farquaad's eyes popped when he saw his bride. Ew, it's disgusting! Guards, get them both, he shouted. Shrek whistled on cue. Dragon crashed through the stained glass window of the cathedral. Arg! Farquaad yelled for the last time. In one gulp, the dragon swallowed him and burped out his crown. The crowd gasped in shock. All right, nobody move, Donkey said from his perch on the dragon. I've got a dragon here, and I'm not afraid to use it. Go ahead, Shrek. Fiona, I love you, Shrek admitted. I love you too, Fiona said. Shrek Fiona kissed. Suddenly, the ogre swirled into the air. Her final transformation had begun. There was an explosion of white light, and then Fiona fell into a heap on the floor. Shrek rushed over. Fiona, are you all right, he asked. Fiona looked down at herself in wonder. She was still an ogress. But I'm supposed to be beautiful, she said. You are beautiful, Shrek said. Before long, Fiona and Shrek had their own wedding in the swamp. After tossing the bouquet to Dragon, they rode off into the sunset in a beautiful onion carriage. Ah, Donkey sighed. I was hoping this would be a happy ending. And that is the end of our story of Shrek. I hope all you enjoy it. Now let's tell our own tale. Alright. Shrek, the greatest fairy tale never told. This is an adventure story. It's kind of like a book, but it also allows you to do something that most books don't. You decide what parts of the book you want to read. After you have read one part of the story, you will have a choice. You will be able to go to the 1, 2, or even more different parts of the story. To do that, you click on one of the bugs like this one. Once upon a time, there was a brave princess and beautiful princess who met and fell in love and lived happily ever after. But that's another story. This one does have a princess and princess of sorts, but the hero in this story is a smelly, hideous ogre named Shrek. What do you want? Who do you want to meet first? Let's check out the princess. But she had an enchantment upon her of a fearful sort, which could only be broken by love's first kiss. She was locked away in a castle, guarded by a terrible fiber-breathing dragon. Many brave knights have tended to fear from this dreadful prison, but none have prevailed. She waited in the dragon's keep, in the highest room of the tallest tower, for her true love and true love's first kiss. A big green hand ripped the next page out. Yeah, like that's ever gonna happen, said a booming voice, followed by the sound of a flushing toilet. Now let's see who owns that ugly green hand. Shrek began his morning routine. He exited his outhouse, took a long, hot mud shower, brushed his teeth with peppermint bug toothpaste, and had a gourmet breakfast of fresh fish and eyeballs. In the afternoon, Shrek enjoyed a bit of painting. He nailed his latest creation to a post and proudly displayed it at the edge of his swamp. Beware, ogre, it read in striking red letters. That evening, after a delicious meal of mud, squid, and grilled wheatrat, Shrek heard a commotion. Let's meet Shrek's uninvited guests. Shrek peered out his window. Through the gunnar trees, he saw little points of dancing orange light. Shrek knew what the lights were. It was the fire of flaming torches brandished by villagers on a rampage. A mob was coming after him with clubs and pitchforks. All right, let's get it, a man cried. Whoa, hold on, unnerved village ward. His voice dropped. You know what that thing could do to you? It'll grind your bones for its bread. Yes, well, actually, that would be a giant. And a voice boomed behind them. It was Shrek. Now ogres, they're much worse, Shrek went on. They'll shave your liver, sweet jelly from your eyes. Actually, it's quite good on toast. Shrek paused a moment. Arg! He roared. Bits and pieces of partially chewed weed dry erupted from his mouth. Ah! The villagers shrank back, their faces dripping with spittle. Shrek waited until they had finished. Then he whispered, "Boo!" The terrified villagers scattered. Shrek watched them go, chuckling to himself. Then he noticed a piece of paper on the ground, dropped by a fleeing pince-nez. He picked it up and read, "What's going on?" All across Duloc, elves, witches, dwarves, and enchanted creatures were being rounded up. Anyone who turned into a creature got a big reward. At a trading post not far from Shrek's swamp, a captain sat behind a table and processed prisoners. A line of unhappy creatures stretched before him. There was a boy with a glowing pixie in a cage, a fat pleasant with 3 grumbling pigs and 7 very downtrodden dwarves. An old man stepped forward and plopped a boy puppet on the table. "What have you got?" the captain asked. "This wooden little puppet," the old man said. "I'm not a puppet," Pinocchio cried. "I'm a real boy." Immediately his wooden nose grew as long as his leg. "Take it away," the captain declared. Next, he motioned to an old woman who claimed to have a talking donkey. "Go ahead, little fellow," the woman said. The donkey pressed his lips together and didn't make a sound. "Talk," she screeched. She started to hit him and knocked the cage holding the glowing fairy. The cage went flying through the air and landed on top of the donkey. He was bathed in a shower of shimmering pixie dust. Donkey rose slowly into the air. "Hey, I can fly," he exclaimed. "He can talk," the captain muttered. Donkey floated above the heads of the crowd. He was having a great time. "That's right, fool," he laughed. "Now I'm a flying, talking donkey. Ha ha." But he spoke too soon. Soon the pixie dust wore off and Donkey plopped back to the ground. Donkey took off for the woods, galloping as fast as his short, shaggy legs would let him. Donkey turned his head to get a look at the chasing guards and slammed smack into a large object, a very large, ugly green object. It was Shrek. Donkey darted behind Shrek's huge legs just as the guards came puffing up. They took one look at the green ogre and fled. Shrek turned his heels and lumbered back into the woods. Spoil Shrek. Donkey trotted behind Shrek. He didn't want to let his new protector out of his sight. "Hey, wait a minute," Donkey called after him. "I got a great idea. I'll stick with you. You're a mean green fighting machine. Together we'll scare the spit out of anybody that crosses us." Roar! Shrek waved his arms and made a fearsome face. That should give him nightmares for a week, Shrek thought. Donkey was impressed. "Oh, well, that was really scary," Shrek sighed. He couldn't even frighten this annoying donkey away. "Why are you following me?" he asked. "Can I stay with you?" Donkey begged. "Please, I don't want to go back there. You don't know what it's like to be considered a freak." He paused. "Well, maybe you do, but that's why we gotta stick together." Shrek gave up. "Okay," he agreed, "but one night only." He opened the door of his house. "Oh, thank you," Donkey said. He charged into the house and jumped up on Shrek's favorite armchair. "Ah, this is gonna be fun. We could stay up late, swamping mainly stories in the morning. I'm making waffles." Shrek pointed sternly to the door. "Outside," he ordered. Ears dropping, Donkey dragged himself out the door and settled down on the doorstep. There he slept, dreaming of fresh green grass and strawberry parfaits. I have 2 options. Let's join Shrek inside. And I don't want to go over a few minutes, so I'm just gonna scroll down the page now and just let you read yourself, because I don't want to go over a certain amount of minutes because I want to get this video done for. So I'll just scroll down. You can read it yourself now, because I've already read most of this. And that's going to do it for the story of creating your own tale for Shrek. Now I'll show you quickly the coloring pages you can print out in this game. Let's go to Home, and we'll go to Coloring Pages. I'm not going to print them out, but one time I do print them out, I'll color them in and show you what I did to them on YouTube. Alright, last picture. And there you have it for Shrek, the electronic storybook PC game. See you in my next show. This is Jerry Heron signing off.